I forgot. Oh my God. Good evening and welcome. I'm Bob Pace and I have Danielle, my co host, and I want to welcome you all to our podcast. And we're here to help you. Our purpose is to help you get your children back or keep your children and fight CPS. We both have had many years with fighting CPS, and we've found out that it isn't the greatest agency that it should be. Now, um, there are three ways you can interact with this podcast. You found us on Facebook, Fighting CPS, and we're using the SteamYard application. And with the SteamYard application, that's being done on YouTube. So there's three ways. One, you can text a message to us. Two, you can call live. And three, you can schedule a time to be a guest on the show. Three, you can schedule a time to be a guest on the show. So, with that being said, the first way is to simply text a message about CPS. Your question of, can you hear me okay, Danielle?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
I can.
I want to transmit it there.
Definitely.
I cleaned my computer finally after 2 months of not doing it, and it had to be. And so I get a new code. The only problem is I forgot to put my virtual background on, and I forgot to put my name on. That's why I was like 1701 getting on here. But anyway, we're here.
It's okay.
The text message, by the way, most of you are registered, so you'll have your name there. All I need to know is the city, the state, and if you're in a country, I'd like to know that also because we welcome everybody around the world. Our podcast is broadcast around the world. If they are on Facebook and they type in Fight CPS, they'll find us. And so I'm here to help, and Danielle's here to help you all fight these crazy guys. I mean, they are so horrible. I mean, I just want you to think about this for a moment. Picture 8 social workers that are supposedly trained to help people reunify or help them with their CPS case. And they decide one day, years ago, to wear pink T-shirts with the word stencil on the front. They are professional kidnappers. And on the back, they say, "Where are your children?" And they were spotted at a store, at a department store where everybody there could see them. Now you think what kind of message that sends out to everybody.
Right.
Think about that.
What kind of mentality?
8 social workers combined, they had something like 28 years of social work. So they've been around a long time. These weren't newbies.
Wow. Right.
They did fire them and the director. This was in Arizona. And I guess I'm trying to emphasize to all you out there that are listening that social workers are not your friend, and CPS is not. Now, when I mean the word CPS, I mean the Child Protection System. Now, in California, it's called the Child Protection Services. In Georgia, it's called what, Danielle?
The Department of Family and Children Services. So it's DCFS or DFCS.
And in Arizona, it's Department of Child Services. So instead of me saying all the acronyms for all the states, I just say CPS. So when I say CPS, it's the government entity, which is a branch of social services.
Everywhere.
That their purpose is to protect our children from neglect and abuse and do family reunification. You hear that? Family reunification. They're not supposed to traffic our children, and they are trafficking our children. They're the only agency I know that can do it legally. And not only do they traffic our children, they're alienating our children from the parents. So you have a tough agency out there. And I'll get more into my rules and what you can do and what you can't do and therefore there. But please text in a message. In the country so far, we've had Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, Ghana, Mexico, Mozambique. I probably pronounced that wrong. It's a country in Africa near Somalia on the east side, and I think it's called pronounced Mozambique. And then there's Denmark. So those are the countries that have contacted us, and I'll ask questions, and we'll take time to answer them. All the text messages, we do try to answer them. And we may have someone on the show talking, so we intermediately tell that person to pause while we take your question. And with Danielle here, it really helps me because she can look up things. She can tell me who's on, who's not. And I really appreciate Danielle. Every time that she joins me, it makes me feel like a better person. I don't feel like I'm the only one that's talking. I do a lot of talk. I'm sorry about that, but now what we usually do,
and it probably helps it go by easier.
Yeah, it does. What we usually do is not only do we talk to people, we also talk about topics like ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act, and we had someone this morning that was registered as an American Indian, and they were trying to get their children into the Indian tribe, and that was somebody from Arizona this morning, and that was kind of cool. We also deal with children going from state to state through ICPC, which Danielle truly has a son that turned 18 while he was kidnapped, and lost in the Child Protection Service's hands. He was actually sent from Georgia to Texas because supposedly when her mother died, Danielle's mother died, they couldn't contact next of kin, which was Danielle. And so she had taken care of
placement.
Right. And so the reason why this all ring in there is that he needs assistant. He needs someone to take care of him. So right now she's trying to get him, and so that she could be the guardian of him. And suppose the end of May he's coming back, and that'd be great because she has her brother that she takes care of too, with assisted living there. So both her son and her brother need assisted living, and Danielle is willing to do the time that does to do that. That is a lot of work. Believe me, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean they deserve to have a life too. I mean,
I know that. Well, you're a very loving person. It shows there.
Yeah.
My
brother's been with me
besides texting in, you can call in at 626-698-0990. We had telephone tag this morning. We had two people that were calling in, a third one. All of a sudden, at the end of our show, we had an influx of people. So we invited them all back tonight. I don't know if we'll see any. We haven't seen anybody yet. And you're perfect welcome to call in and be on our show. You will have voice only, no picture. But 626-698-0990 is what you call in. That's my number. And that number is live, by the way, for 1 hour. 1 hour at night at 7 p.m., 1 hour in the morning at 10 a.m. And so it's 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, morning show, afternoon show, and I'm on Pacific Standard Time. The shows are 1 hour. We seem to go right to the hour. We always end our show sometimes a minute over or something like that. So you get your money's worth listening to our podcast. You'll get your good 60 minutes there. And if you participate, you get a lot more. And I think most of the people that have been in here have felt really good about some of the things we've told them. They have come back and told us things. I had a social worker on here, Danielle, that talked for 40 minutes. She called in on my phone number, and she gave her name, and she said she was from Maryland, and that she had a degree as a clinical psychiatrist, and plus she had 6 months of additional training in Maryland. They say that all social workers get 6 months of additional training, which is hard to believe because I've had two people from Maryland.
Right.
They said that their children were taken. It was awful. So I hope a social worker
trying to probably.
I hope a social worker.
I mean, that
begin.
I came across a podcast, and it wasn't really, it was a live. I don't know if it was on Facebook or TikTok, but it was one of the famous rappers or singer. I don't know if it was P Diddy or Kanye West, one of them, but he was thanking all the social workers, saying they don't get enough credit and appreciation, and and all the social workers in there. And I'm just like, some of y'all may be good people, and by means that they could have good hearts, but it's just the CPS system that is, you can have a couple bad apples, you can have some bad apples, but I mean, it's like a majority of them is, but there's a few of them that have hearts, but still, it the moral of it is their morals and values are not what they're supposed to be. Families first. I mean, before they even take the child, they're supposed to help that family get back up on their feet wherever they're struggling. And I believe, and I have not seen that. And even the stories that we hear from the people that call in, I still have not found or heard a case yet that has had that opportunity and anything good come out of it. You get what I mean? Like anything. So here we go.
Yeah, we got Chase Lacey. I never heard of her before. So she says, hey, thank you. I'm going to put that up so that we can see it on the screen there. She says, hey, thank you for standing with the people who are being abused by the system. Well, I appreciate that, Lacey. I kind of fear falling this page for retaliation. Oh, boy. I love you, you all. We are currently being abused by DHR, which is the CPS, in what state is she from?
Alabama. It says Alabama.
Alabama. Yeah, and I'm currently
right
listening to the podcast on Audible. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're listening. If you want to talk about your case, you can certainly text us more, or better yet, you can call in. I don't think you'll get retaliation because it's very rare that I can see a CPS worker taking the time to figure out, they may know when I'm on, but they don't know who's calling in. So, I know that CPS workers are listening. I really do. But I don't know if they're listening to find out, how to be a better social worker or how to be a worse social worker. They're thinking that maybe you give away secrets or something. All I know for all you listeners out there, and this is from firsthand experience, and I think Danielle will agree with me, that CPS workers are they lack transparency, they're mean, they tell lies, they're very deceiving, and they're not your friend.
Grudges. It's like
and hold grudges.
They
stalk.
Yeah, they something happened with them.
I think that they have stalked, and they try to, and they'll retaliate. Now, my experience,
and they bully.
My social worker said that you're never going to see your daughter again, and told our daughter at 9 years of age, you divorce your parents, you seal up your Social Security, your birth certificate, you change your name, and you get adopted by a foster care. And my daughter at 12 did that. It was sad. She was only 12 years old. A 12-year-old won't know all that. And I don't know why. She was maybe confused about a lot of issues, but it's a shame because she's a beautiful daughter. My wife and I miss her very, very much. And that's my tragedy that happened to me. CPS stole my daughter, trafficked my daughter, and has alienated her from her family. She divorced her mom and dad, divorced her grandparents, and divorced her aunts and uncles and cousins and brothers and brothers, which is really awful. Really, really awful.
But tell her that but let her know that you're not giving up. You're hoping that she comes around. And
well, she's 21 now. I've seen her on TikTok. She was doing her first drink on TikTok, and it was funny. She probably didn't know it, but maybe she will come around. I know my two sons see our
Did you
daughter,
post anything on there to her?
occasionally. Pardon?
Did you put a comment or anything on the TikTok? Like for
No, I
her?
didn't want to do that because I don't want to
Okay.
scare her away. I don't want to think
Oh,
that
okay.
she thinks I'm stalking her.
Okay. And that
I
is
think she's real sensitive. And if I say, "Hi, it's me, your dad," she's going to freak out. So,
yeah, you know her better than anybody, you know. So that's
yeah, I know. I
she'll
think
have,
about, I used to do when my firstborn, who is, I'm not seen since she was 3, I actually have 2 daughters. They're AWOL. I used to hide notes in her books at school because I'd visit her school and back to school nights.
mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if she ever got them, but she was taking me at age 3, and now she is 30. Let's see, she was born in 89. Her birthday's May 2nd. So 89 to 99 to
She's
2019 is 20.
35 because my
She's
brother's
35 years
37.
old. Thank you.
My
35
brother
years
was born in
old.
87, so yeah, so 89, yeah,
Yeah,
35.
so she's 30. She's 35, my firstborn.
Well, she just turned
And
36, right? No, she just
well,
turned
May
35.
2nd was her birthday. So
Okay, so she just
89,
okay.
89 from 2024 is how you
So
would
she
figure
just
it.
turned 30, 35. Or yeah,
Just turned 35. Yeah.
yeah.
And
Because my brother, yeah,
yeah, I agree with you, Chase Lacey.
yes,
They've been
and
defaming my wife, named to her parents
her,
and her kids, which is parent
her,
alienation. Yes.
yeah. Is
CPS
the
is an
parents
expert.
have the kids?
They're an expert at
Mhm.
child kidnapping. They boast about it.
Right.
They put it on their pink shirts. 8 women, who combined had 25 years of
And
social work. They boast about it, so they must be they must be, professional
it's
kidnappers.
and their mentality is not. It's for them to do that. The mentality is not. It's. Sorry, I see someone swatting a bee
Well,
outside.
anybody that
But
wants to know about, all you have to do is type in the Arizona social workers, the Arizona pink T-shirt social workers and CPS. That will come up. You'll see many
and
stories about it.
what's it called? The pink
The pink
in Air
T-shirt,
in Arizona.
Arizona. Yeah, I
No,
think it's called Pendleton. Let me see. It was Pendleton. If you type in the social workers that wore pink T-shirts, the CPS social workers, type
mm-hmm.
that in. CPS
Oh yeah.
social workers that had a pink T-shirt to display
Oh
that they're
yeah, it's on the
professional
New
kidnappers.
York Post. Kidnapper T-shirts, apparent firings. Oh wow, they fired the. Oh wow, the wow. How could they do
Isn't that
that?
amazing?
It's my gosh. Wow,
8
Stuntman's
of them.
22 years old.
8 of them.
Oh
It's like
my
the whole department.
goodness.
The whole department.
That is right. That is that right there is. I would expect. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything like that to have to do with anything to do with kidnapping a child, or even in that same sentence. That is wrong. And what made them do that? Like, what would give them the
Well, they thought it was
what
a
other
lark. They
what
were
other
trying to do a lark among the office. It was supposed to be in the
there's
office,
a
but apparently they went out to the general public.
and it spread out. So it probably spread out. So did they venture out in person into the general public,
Read
or did
about
it
it.
go
It
out on
tells
social
you all the
media?
details. It tells you all the
Okay.
details.
Well, we got a
Now,
question
Chase
from
Lacey has put up another thing. What other
what
places
other
would you all
places would.
recommend for resource
Mhm.
to educate myself on this matter? I'm trying to go to the website to get a free copy of Vincent's book, but it's down. I'm sorry about that. What you want to do, you're in
Okay.
Alabama, so type in Alabama Welfare Institution Code, and you're
And
going to, type in Alabama Welfare and Institution Code. You want to type that in there,
mhm.
Danielle?
Yeah. And
Welfare.
how long has their case been going on? And is their kids with the mom, like the grandparents right now? Or if they...
The internet is
I
a
know that
lot of things you
you've got...
can check out. I don't know what your
Oh, yes.
allegations are.
You
I
said
don't know the age of
Alabama.
your children or how long you've been fighting your case. We need that information so we can give you more information. We need to know. And in
Okay.
fact,
Here we
Chase
go.
Lane,
Do you
if
want
you
the
like
number
to
or do you
call
want
in,
the website?
call in. I just
All
want
right,
to know if
so
there's
here
an
we are.
Alabama welfare and institution code in CPS.
It says, what is this one? This one's talking about Alabama code title. This one's child abuse, title 2616 dash, talking about neglect. Hold on.
Well, put that link up so that
All right,
Chase
let me pull it
can look at it.
Yeah.
Put the link up.
26-14-1. So the
Guess
code of
what?
Alabama.
We got someone calling in.
I'm gonna put this up for you.
Good evening. Hello.
Hi.
And welcome.
This is Michelle.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Michelle from Alabama.
Oh, you're the one that's is
Hi.
writing Chase Lacey, right?
That's
I'm
right.
getting the link right
Yeah.
now.
Well, glad to meet you, Michelle. And do you want me to call you Michelle or do you want me to call you Chase Lacey? What would?
Well, Chase is my fiance.
Okay.
I'm Michelle. So it's
Okay.
yes, it is affecting him. We've been together for 9 years, so he's been a part of the kids' lives for as long as they can remember their.
I never heard of a fiance for 9 years. You've been a fiance. You've been
Wow.
engaged for 9 years.
Well, that's another. If you want to have a conversation about welfare reform and how they incentivize not getting married, then we can talk about that another time. But,
yeah.
I would lose Medicaid and housing.
Right. I know.
Right.
I don't want to. I don't need to go in there.
It's so screwed up.
Yeah, I don't want to know. All I want to know is CPS and how we can help you. And you were looking for resources. And we looked up on the internet the welfare and institution code for Alabama.
Okay.
That is so important to read because in California, it's 300, 325, 314, 344. It tells you about what they're doing and what they're not doing or what they're doing right. Because you have so many Constitution and civil rights that they're violating. There's no question about that.
Yes.
How long has your case been going on? How long has your case been going on?
It started on November the 27th of 2023.
So that's not too long, about a year then, right?
No. Well, about 6 months.
Okay, that's not bad. 6 months. I mean,
not that bad.
I know mine was.
Plan, though. I don't know if the verbiage is different in California or it's the same. They're calling it a voluntary safety. I entered a voluntary safety plan.
Okay,
it
now
is voluntary for sure.
Yeah, the interpretation of safety plan is usually after they take your child, which I imagine they took your child that wasn't in danger. So they take your child. Right. They're supposed to, within that first week, meet with you and discuss the safety plan for your child, which means
before they
where we're going to put the child. Are we going to put them with family members? Are we going to put them in a shelter? Are we going to put them in a group home? Are we going to put them in a single family home in foster care? So that's what the safety plan. I'm sorry?
And they so I mean, I guess they did that one right.
Well, did they ask you for a list of family members that your kids could stay with?
That very night, she asked me that question, and I said I would like my children to stay together and go to my parents' house.
Okay.
Live 5 minutes away.
Okay. And what did they say? What did she say?
She said she said fine. My parents came and picked the kids up.
Great. I'm glad to hear something worked right.
So they say that's like a safety assessment.
Well, I know it always starts great. They want to build you up before they tear you down. So
they wanted us to all think that they were really trying to do the best thing
and
the
do
kids
family
and make sure that I was
reunifications. So how old are the kids? How old are the kids?
not. My daughter is 9, and my son is 13.
Okay, so
They
you
both
have
had birthdays away from me, so they were
right.
8 and 12, and now they're 9 and 13.
So you have one that's almost a teenager and one that is an early part of teenager. Okay. Okay. So 9 and 13, and they can stay with them up. Now, what were the allegations, the alleged allegations?
She said at the door, and I tried not to let her in. Okay, I just want you to know, I really, really
I
tried
know.
to exercise my rights. Okay?
Yeah, I know that.
But she said,
Wow.
I have been, there's a report that you are mentally unstable, and that you are it was she said, based on that you have been saying that you and the children have had to be treated for parasites, which it actually was true. We did have to be treated, and we did have we had to take medication. And that there's all medical records of that. It's not like I just did some homeopathic cure. I mean, we went to the doctor many times before they finally gave us that medicine.
Well, what was wrong with your fiance? Why couldn't the children stay with your fiance if you had the parasites?
No, well, because he stays with us.
Well, I know that, but you could temporarily move to your mom's house and he could take care of the kids at your house.
Have they said anything about I see right here that Alabama has short.
So your apartment, I'm sorry, Danielle. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. What did you want to say, Danielle?
Okay. Well, no, I was saying if she did like the out-of-home non-foster care type safety plan, there's no time frame for how long those can go on. But I see on here that they even they did the plan can be in place without court involvement. It was 90 days, but now it's 45. And if the child remains out of the home for 45 days or longer, they file a dependency petition in to sustain that out of home placement. And wow, that's it used to be 90 days.
She did not do it.
Wow.
I actually spoke to an attorney today after I listened to your podcast. I decided that we're almost at 6 months, and I got very nervous because I realized this woman has lied many, many times. This caseworker, the investigator lied, and now the caseworker has lied many times. And I did my mental evaluation. So the kids were removed on November 27th. I didn't even get an appointment for a mental evaluation, which this whole thing was supposed to be based on, right? I didn't even get a chance before 45 days. I didn't even get to take that test until January 29th.
Really? And this is crossed out on the website.
I didn't even get to know what my results were.
Wow.
Did
you ever take a parental fitness assessment?
Formally, but through the family counselor that DHR has set us up, me and the kids up with, just last week, was asked if I minded if she requested that, because she doesn't understand why we're still on the safety plan, and she got it, and she said she's not supposed to let me see it, but she's telling me it doesn't say anywhere on there that I am not fit to take care of my children.
See, and that's they're supposed to give you a copy of that.
I was told them that I have been taking medication for anxiety for over 5 years. I see a therapist. I mean, I'm not a schizophrenic, I'm not bipolar. Not that those things would disqualify you as a parent. I'm just saying I don't even have that.
Right.
So,
so she's just trying to base it, she's just trying to make.
I actually went to my therapist yesterday for an appointment, and I asked them if anyone from DHR has called or requested any documents or any of my files, and they said no.
Wow.
They looked at everything, looked every place they could look, and said no one from DHR or actually from anywhere has requested any information about me. So my own mental health people who I've been seeing for 8 years, they didn't even get contacted by
So
VHR.
have you taken, so, and sorry if you've already said this, but because my thing was cutting out, but did you say that you took any assessments through their services, like through one of their people, the departments?
Through VHR?
Like, yes.
Yes. So over 60 days into this, I finally got to get in. I finally received an appointment for a mental assessment. And after I finished it, it was on January 29th. After I finished it, the man even said to my face, I just don't know what they are saying. He said, I can't see what they say they saw.
And the thing, and what sucks is because I'm faced this with my parental fitness assessment. They'll get what that person said that you went and seen, that's even the person they referred you to, and because I was in the same situation, and they made up more recommendations and all this other stuff rather than what was referred for me at that assessment. So for that gentleman to tell you that, and then to be doing what they're doing now and not giving you your findings or what was referred, that right there throws up a definite, because they were supposed to all I was sorry, I can't even talk tonight. All I was referred for was just stability, a better housing. That was it. Nothing major. I mean, I had a stable place, but that's what she said. I mean, that's it. And they had the housing vouchers. Well, I mean, I could easily find a different place. I could move, but they had all this other stuff. And after my case had already been going on, they wanted at the last minute to tell me I needed a psych eval, and then all this other stuff. Wanted me to do these parenting classes, and so I went and started doing parenting classes on my own.
Started Monday. Told me based on my mental health evaluation from January that I am going to start parenting classes in the
I'll look it up for Alabama, but
drug court when I never tested positive for any illegal drugs.
You need to get start getting your own drug test done, and start going to, even if you have to go to NA or AA meetings, like 2 a week, just start doing things on your own just to show the court, and so you'll be ready, because they're gonna try to pound that all on you at one time, and it's gonna be right before you're kind of the permanency hearing, and that's what because that's what they did to me.
I've realized that I have yet to hear of, not one single success story.
I was just talking about
without someone hiring a private attorney, and the most affordable attorney I could find has been $5,000.
Yeah.
That's cheap. That's cheap for a retainer. Okay. Most of them start at 10 to 15.
Yeah.
They go as high as 30.
Kidding?
Well, I'm not trying to be, here's my problem. I've never been in a problem with anybody over my children. My case started when I lost my job through no fault of my own in 2010. And for 5 years, I was hounded by lay people who I did not know. They're my in-laws. And they're reporting that me and my wife weren't taking care of our children right. They're saying stupid things like there's no food in the refrigerator. Of course, they live in Ohio, so how they're going to come to California and know if you have no food in the refrigerator. But they said we weren't paying our bills. And I had to talk to them for 5 years outside, show them the bills, I had them in my house a couple of times. I didn't know about the law that says that you don't have to allow them, you don't have to give them permission to get in your home unless they have a court order warrant. Or there's extreme danger. So I didn't know about that. But anyway, at that time, I had no problem living in my house. I had no problem talking to them. So for 5 years, I'm dealing with the constant hassle me. And then finally in 2015, they got a hold of a police detective where I lived, and he, I guess, started following me, meaning that I went and picked up my children, and I did not know he was following me. So I picked up my son and I proceeded to go down. I live at the beach, so I went down the beach with my son, and we had to go pick up mom because she was down on the main drag there, and one needed to be picked up. And so, unfortunately, to me, I didn't know that he was following. Well, he called one of his black and white buddies who made a illegal U-turn. He was going the other direction that I was going, and then pulled it behind me. I said, geez, why is he pulling me over? I always stop for cops, if the lights are on or things of that nature. And so I stopped him, and then the police officer said, like, did you know you ran a stop sign? And I said, well, there was 2 traffic lights or 3 traffic lights back. I think the stop sign referring to me was 15 miles back. Why do you not stop me there? And he says, well, the guy behind you knows all about it. You need to talk to him. That's how he broke it, so that I'd be forced to talk to the detective, because the detective was an unmarked cop car. And so he's sitting there with a bulletproof vest, his battle fatigue pants, his combat boots, and a heavy jacket, very intimidating, walks up and says, you're going to follow me to the house. And at first, if I knew what I knew now, I would have said, well, write me a ticket. If you think I ran a stop sign, I can go to court. I need to go and get my wife. And he said, no, you're coming to me. And I did not want to fight with them, because I did not know about the law that says they need a warrant or a court order. And I said, I should have said, hey, arrest me if I'd done something wrong, or give me a ticket if I'd done something wrong traffic-wise. He wasn't a traffic, he was a detective. So like a fool, my son was in the car, and meanwhile, my wife didn't know this, but she was left stranded. And I come home, and when I get to my home, it was the most horrific thing to see. There was 5 firemen, 2 code enforcement,
they were there
3
before you got
workers, 2 uniformed policemen, and then the detective. So I had all these people in my front yard in a private community. Community. I mean, and I had just recently lost my job, so there's nothing wrong. I mean, I was paying my mortgage for 5 years. I didn't lose my house.
Struggling.
Yeah, I was just struggling.
You're already struggling. What are they doing to you?
And so, well, because that's how they get a hold of you. When you don't have money. And of course, I didn't have the brains to think, hey, maybe I should get an attorney. This is really weird. I should have told the whole group out there, I'm sorry you're not coming in. And they said, we have a warrant. Then I would have looked at the warrant, but they didn't have a warrant. So I gave them permission for them all to march in my home. Unbeknownst to me, that I had recently taken my parents' belongings to my home because they were dying. And I was boxing them and getting them ready and sorting them to give to families and friends. They had 4,000 square feet of 55 years of belongings. So you can imagine if you have a home.
You have some clutter. You have some clutter going, but it's not normal. It's not typical.
But they thought it was negligence. They say these boxes stacked too high could maybe jump and hurt my children. Now, my children each had their own bedrooms, their own castles. And they're big bedrooms, big doorways. I mean, the ceilings are not your typical ceiling. You can't touch the ceilings. The ceilings in each bedroom are like 20 feet high, and the doors are huge. And they have their own bed, and their rooms were nice and clean. They had their own bathroom, and the parents' room was down the hall with the double doors. We had a jacuzzi. We had a private toilet place to go to the toilet. We had a jacuzzi, a walk-in shower. And then we had 2 walk-in closets and our double doors overlooking the pool in the back. I mean, our house was only built in 2004. So I had a nice home. The problem was it was cluttered. You're right, the clutter part. And that's where they got you. They said.
That's what they said. That's what the woman said made me mentally unstable. Because
the clutter?
Because
the clutter?
dealing with these sickness, I had all these. The pediatrician told me, because we kept having rashes, the kids kept breaking out in rashes every time we put on clean clothes on them. He said, you have to, until you can figure out what this is, till we figure it out, maybe it's dust mites, maybe it's something from the cat. If something's happening, you have to keep your clean clothes directly into bags until you can figure out what's causing the reaction, because something's happening, you know? So she sees that I have, a pile of bags of clothes in the living room, a pile of bags of clothes in my son's room, a pile of bag of clothes in my room, like in my daughter's room. And she says that that I'm mentally detached from reality to believe that I ever needed to do that. But she never talked to the doctor. That's what the doctor told me to do.
Right. And she didn't say nothing about the the rash or why you had it like that. Like, she didn't ever ask.
She didn't care. And I even showed her the parasite medicine containers. Like, we just took our second dose. Like, we're just now starting to feel better. Like, we've been sick for 8 or 9 months. Like, every 2 or 3 weeks, fever, body aches, stomach problems, rashes. Like, it was just this ongoing insanity. And we went to dermatologist, urgent care, pediatrician.
Did they ever tell you what it was?
So many different doctors over the summer that we didn't even have our summer vacation got totally screwed up. And it didn't matter. Didn't care, didn't believe me. And now to find out that she never verified anything that I told her through medical records, through the doctor or my own mental health care professional.
Wow. So she made her own assumptions, her own. Wow.
And she even said, I said, did you ask everybody, this is the way we always live? Yeah. And she said, no. She said, yeah, I did. And everyone said that this is not normal for your house. I said, exactly.
Wow.
Well, Michelle, I got a link. I got a link I want to share with you, Michelle, that came from Danielle.
Please.
I'm sending it right now. It's going to come about 6 times because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 rooms listening to me right now. 8 people that deal with Facebook.
What about your clutter? What did they say about you? You just said they said you were negligent? They didn't say you were crazy?
No, they didn't say that. They said that we're citing you with negligence because the boxes could hurt your children. Didn't say they would, but he said they could. And I said, well, wait a minute. My children, my youngest is 9 and 12 and 15. And I said, they're taller than any box stacked. And I know that boxes don't fly. I know furniture can't walk up the stairs. So I don't know what get this. They said they were in extreme danger. Now, all 3 kids were at school. I had picked up one of them. The other 2 were at school. So where was the extreme danger to these kids? Where was the extreme danger? They have now taken that every time they get a complaint, they believe it, of course, and which is wrong. And you're guilty till you're proven innocent type attitude.
Yes.
And on top of that,
have you heard anything about a registry?
I'm sorry, what?
For a child? Have you ever heard anything about a statewide registry? Because Alabama is all. I'm like me looking up other states. I know they mentioned a registry, but Alabama is about the child abuse neglect.
Yes, child abuse or neglect. There's a registry.
Alabama is real.
Oh, well.
And Alabama is really about that registry. Yes.
Put on there because
I will send.
I don't even spank my kids. I'm not. Listen, I'm not pointing my finger or judging anyone who does. I've been through abuse. I lived through abuse. I swore after I watched Super Nanny when that show first came out, and I saw how those kids got helped through timeout chair. That's what I would do when I had kids. Right. And I swear that's what I have done the whole time. There's been 2 occasions where I did, quote unquote, pop them because we were at Disney World, and I told them Mommy wouldn't be able to time out them if they were acting crazy. Okay.
All right.
But other than that, there's no abuse at all whatsoever. None.
Yeah.
My kids are so unhappy right now. All they did was tell the family counselor, my daughter keeps trying to express in every way she can that she's afraid of her father.
Why is she afraid of her father?
Is so sad.
Wow.
He was that's why I left him, because he's
Wait. I missed something here. I thought the father was the fiance.
So is she with
somebody else?
Oh, no. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, there was a piece missing. Oh, because I forgot to tell you how it started out.
I thought you had a fiance
life, right?
for all these years. The biological father of your children, is he before your fiance?
Yeah, two different. I tried twice.
Oh, so you have two fathers with your children. Okay. Now, these three children you have, is one father the same for two of them, the children?
No, I only have two. My fiance, we've chosen not to have children. He actually, because he loved my children. You know, my daughter was 1, my son was 5 when we met, 4 when we met, and those became his children. These are my kids too.
So what happened to the father of those two children?
Awesome.
You had two different fathers, right?
Yep. They are. They live nearby.
Do they want to be involved with CPS and taking care of the children?
Yeah, so I've done out of the court system because we were never married, and because we were never married in Alabama, I had automatic default sole custody. Okay, so
why do you not have joint custody?
Because they never took me to court.
Well, you could have got joint custody. You could have got joint custody. Your fiance could have.
Well, I had full custody. I automatically had full custody.
Okay, because these deadbeat dads are gone.
Well, just because they didn't attempt in any way to file anything with the court to get any type of custody.
Were you married to these deadbeat dads? Were you married to these dads?
I did not marry them.
Okay, so you started out having a relationship with two guys that turned out awful, or were you maybe raped? I mean, I don't know if these are.
No.
You wanted the children.
No, just very abusive. They were just very abusive, and I did not marry either one, thankfully. And because I didn't marry them, I retained full custody unless they ever took me to court. Then I would risk losing full custody.
Right.
To legitimize them.
I don't know how it is in other states. That's what.
It works the same way in other states. It works the same way in other states.
Yeah.
You know,
they would have to legitimize them.
Exercise custody, but
I did allow them visitation.
Okay.
And I did also file for child support through the DHR system.
Good.
Even though they were never, ever punished for not paying. Just let you guys know.
So they never paid a dime? They never paid a dime?
Oh, look, my oldest and my youngest's dad is the same. He's never.
The longest I went without a payment from one dad has been 36 months.
Oh, wow.
And the other dad would go, the longest he went was about 10 months. But see, what they did was their tax returns, tax refunds would get garnished through DHR before they would get their part.
Good.
So I would get
right.
I would get the back pay from the year before, whatever they didn't pay.
Right. How much was the child support for each of them? How much was it per month?
You're not gonna like this. $234 or $35 for one, and then $245 for the other.
That's
Like, not even,
typical.
didn't even break
That
250.
is typical. I remember I had to pay
Okay.
child support to my firstborn, and I had to do it twice, by the way. I first was paying pretty
Okay.
close to $1,200 a month for one child,
What?
and I never had any visitation with that child. It's based on how long you with the child. And then after 5 years, she said, I'm not got a dime of it. So she took me to court and won another $118,000. So I paid child support twice. And my daughter now is 35 years old. I don't see her. I do not see her. The last time I saw her, she was 3, and her last words to her father were, Dad, why do you have to go? And I said, it's your mother. And I said that I don't want to say anything bad, but I do love you. And hopefully you'll come and see me when you're 18. Well, she turned 18 and now she's 35. She just turned 35. And I see bits and pieces of her. I know she went to my college, and I know that she was on Facebook. So I've seen bits and pieces of her. I did visit her high school and try to get graduation tickets, but she said you need to talk to her mom. Her mom was not going to give me graduation tickets. So I never saw, I heard how she did. Oh, I know. That's messed up. I tell you.
I opened up child support on myself for my kids.
My baby daddies who don't do anything. They've never helped with school. They've never helped with homework. They never picked up or dropped off for school. They didn't take care of my kids when I was even in the hospital with sickness.
Wow.
And all these, they haven't done anything except for be the fun dad every other weekend. Sometimes not even, but one day a month, just whenever they feel like it. I've allowed it because I decided that if my kids want their dad at all, then I will allow it because I didn't want them to grow up and then ask me how come I kept them away from their dad.
Right. And that's
right.
It's
because
you did the right thing.
Look, I have a very tough relationship with my own dad, but I know that I wouldn't like it to know that somebody made the choice for me about having that relationship,
And that's what I'm going to be facing with my girls.
Away from them, even though I had the right to, and I could have, I could have made it really hard for them and made life really hard for them and complained to them and fought with them. I never did.
Wow.
Never.
Wow.
And in front of the kids think that we're best friends.
Oh, great.
The kids only just until recently, since these things have started to arise, and now my parents are having conversations. They're starting to hear things that they never heard before going on, like child support and payment. Things that they had no idea that their dads never paid.
Well, right. And I guess you don't want to deal with that part because I hate to say it, there are fathers that have children, and it's sad because they don't care. I mean, they think with the wrong head, first of all. They get a girl pregnant and they don't care. They don't care because, and I hate to say it, is that most girls meet guys and they believe in them. They're young and they meet them and you fall for them. I mean, it's terrible growing up. No one has a manual of how to date or how to, date guys or whatever.
Guilty right here.
And how to have a relationship.
How can you tell a lie from the truth?
I know, right?
No, and you meet these guys and they woo you. They, they make these things to make you. And then as soon as they have the baby, they say, how do I get out of this?
I told the father of my oldest.
He has zero legal obligation at all to them. And for all of these years, if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have had birthday parties. They wouldn't have had Christmas.
I hear you.
They wouldn't have had field trips. None of that. They rarely, once in a while, will they say, he's a good guy. I'm glad, you got a good guy around the kids. But they've never offered to help pay him back or offer. I mean, there's nothing, no real appreciation at all. for him.
And with your kids, that's gonna mean he's gonna mean.
If he was even just nice to my kid, I'm grateful for that. Like, I couldn't imagine.
And your kids are
someone really doing all these extra things that they don't have to do for my kid.
Right.
And how I would feel for that. Like, how could they not be more grateful?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can tell you're really hurting talking about this.
The kids appreciate it and love it.
Well, it's hard because, like, to know that my daughter's dad, he has had drug arrests.
I know. He's
a drug addict. I mean, he told them too. Even it's just, how did they give him full custody and didn't even let me have a hearing?
What do you mean? I'm confused.
They gave him full custody.
Have the full custody.
Okay. Oh yeah, because I keep forgetting to tell you how that happened.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to look at the whole picture. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the kids got taken and they went to my parents' house. Okay. So at least for the first 10 days, they were together at my parents' house.
It was all stable. It was all stable, right?
Visit every day. I was allowed to visit every day.
And
I had to
in touch
be
with the
gone by 8
dads.
p.m. I couldn't talk to them after 8 p.m. either, so I couldn't put them to bed because they don't go to bed at 8. So all of a sudden, I can't put my kids to bed, which is a really tough thing for them and for me. But these things that these people don't consider, they don't take it into consideration at all. They don't care at all. But I can't even sing them goodnight at their bedtime or anything like that. But okay. But I'm doing everything I can to make sure that they are okay. I'm, going to the store to make sure they have whatever snacks they want at my mom's house. All the stuff to try to make it as happy as I can for them there, and make them feel like they're just visiting for a little bit over there, and that mommy's still here. Their dads, neither dad. Not either dad went to see them at all. And then on December the 6th, remember this started November 27th, so 10 days later, my daughter's father shows up with an order for temporary custody of my daughter. And at the same time, we get we no longer have an investigator, which I didn't know that. All of a sudden we have a caseworker. So there was some collusion with him and the caseworker and the investigator, because he made sure that the caseworker came at the same time he came to get my daughter.
They were in cahoots together. Sounds about
even though he was on the safety plan as a supervised, restricted parent like I was.
Yeah, but here's my thing is that, was he expecting to get money? Is that why he decided to show interest?
Well, yes. He has. So
that's what his motive is. His motive was money.
He has a lot of motive, and there's lots of ways to prove it. I told him to stop claiming our daughter because he's doing it illegally. And
on the tax returns?
Making it where I can't claim her, and I couldn't get any of the COVID money. I couldn't get anything because he keeps claiming her before me, and I have not given permission, and he's doing it illegally, and I keep telling him to stop, and he won't stop.
Just tell IRS, and they'll take care of it.
I did. Yeah. I tried, and it's harder than you would think.
And you have to file and fight it.
The second piece is that he wanted to stop paying child support to me, and he wanted me to start paying child support to him, even though I hadn't been able to work because
Wait a minute, you've had to pay child support. You know how child support works. They take the amount of time that each child spends with a parent. They work out a formula. If one parent's working, the other parent's working. If one makes more money, there's a formula. Was he working?
Okay, yes, but for his father, who writes
pays
it
under the table.
Under the table.
He only shows it he only reports him
Yeah.
making $18,000 for the entire year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hold on,
And
Michelle. I'm
you
going to,
can't afford
Michelle,
to live.
I don't
Yeah,
mean
it's
to,
like it's not even possible.
yeah, I don't mean to be cutting
and
this
that's
short,
like
but
he's trying
my
to get
time
state
is up.
programs.
No, I
My
know.
time is up in 8 seconds, 7 seconds.
Oh, gosh.
But I want to first tell you, I thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing
Oh,
your
yeah,
story. I want you to call again tomorrow morning or tomorrow
definitely.
night and finish
Okay.
your story and see what else we can
I would
help
like
you
to.
with.
Because I can
Okay.
definitely try to
Yes.
help
You know,
her, and
we,
I'll look
I
up
would
some
like
stuff tonight.
you're on. It's 10 p.m. here, so what time is it there?
And
all right.
tomorrow
7?
it'll be
It's
12:45.
tomorrow it will be, if you're in Alabama, you're 3 hours ahead of me. So
Is she
it's going to be
Eastern?
10 to 11, 11 to 12, 1 o'clock or noon. I think it is 10 to
Are
11,
you Eastern
11 to
time? Are you an
12,
hour behind
1
Georgia?
o'clock,
Okay.
1 at 1
Okay, I'll
o'clock.
call
You're on East Coast time, correct?
Central.
Oh, so you're 2
So
hours
it's
ahead of me. So it's 10 to
11:45.
11, 11 to,
So
okay,
it's 12
so
to
it's
1.
10 to 11, 11 to 12.
We're so
At
confused.
noon tomorrow,
Yes.
or 1 o'clock Danielle's time. She's at 1
Yep.
o'clock. So at
Because I have to get on
noon
here
tomorrow,
anyway.
you can be on my morning show, and my evening
Okay.
show starts at 7 o'clock at night. You're 2 hours ahead, so 7 to 8, 8
Hers
to
would be
9,
8:45,
9
9
p.m. your
o'clock.
time,
Uh-huh.
9 p.m. your time, and 10
Okay.
p.m. Danielle's time there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm only 1 hour
Same.
show, and again, you can be on at 10 in the morning and 7 o'clock at night.
Pacific time.
Okay. I appreciate it. I hope that in however way you are able to help me, that we can help somebody else, because
It
I
does.
just need to thank you, because today when I found your show on Audible, I was just so desperate about what can I even do. I don't even know where to look for any more information. And
It's
I
okay.
saw this
We-
podcast.
We all had to start.
We can help you, because I have talked
I was
over,
in the same
you know,
position.
500 people, and I've talked to every state. And right now, I think I've talked to like 9 countries. I can't remember. The
Yeah,
countries
it's-
call in here too. So
Mhm.
I do
You
try,
are blessing.
and
You really are
Danielle
blessing.
and
You
I,
really helped me today.
we do try to help, you know. And so
And we've got
uh,
some good feedback, from people
yeah,
as well.
we got good
So I will
feedback.
call tomorrow and
Okay.
answer any more questions that hopefully will help shed light on this really messed up system that should be reformed.
Oh,
How no one's
Oh yeah, it's
We have lots of
happening.
ideas. We have lots of ideas, but I want
Definitely.
everybody to
Okay.
think about those pink
Yeah.
ladies that said they're professional
Oh, yeah.
traffic, child
I-
trafficking,
Yeah.
kidnappers,
I got the picture.
professional
Yeah.
kidnappers.
The
That is who
picture
you're
is-
dealing with. I don't care what state, I don't care what country. The mentality of the
You got
CPS worker. I've only had one CPS worker talk on my show, by the way, and she's from Maryland, and she talked pretty well for 40 minutes. So tell your fiance Chase to work with you and help support each other. Sorry you've gone through it. I want to thank to all my listeners. I want to thank you, Danielle.
And
I'll see you in the morning, Danielle, at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which I think is now 1 o'clock Eastern Time that you're on. She's from
1 o'clock Eastern
Georgia.
time. Yeah, so
Yeah,
Oh.
she's from Georgia.
I'm on
Nice.
Eastern, so it'd be
Okay.
So
12
I
o'clock
can't believe,
Central. It'd be 12
you know,
Eastern.
I can't believe that Georgia is 3 hours and Alabama's 2 hours. I didn't know that they were Mountain Time.
Yeah, there's
It's Alabama's
Central.
totally screwed up in all ways. Okay?
Well, the only thing I know
Is
about
there-
Alabama is
Mark-
I have a friend of mine that was the quarterback at the University of Alabama, and I love the coach Nick Saban. So I love Alabama for those 2 reasons. So,
There you go.
and I have some friends that live in Alabama. We used to, but they had a case, and that's a whole different story.
Well, you
So
just won Chase over. He's your biggest fan right now. So
okay, but anyway.
He's a big Alabama
Yeah,
fan.
I want you to land on a smile, but be determined. Don't give up. Listen to them, follow them, and knowledge is your secret to winning.
Knowledge
More
is
knowledge
power.
you find out, the more you are. And I say, when you
Research.
Google everything, just think of the topics and arrange the words.
Okay.
So the first word is what they search first, then the second word, the third word, and the fourth one. So you want to put Alabama at the front. Don't put Alabama at the end
Okay.
because you're going to get everything from Washington and
And,
Maryland and whatnot.
and then
Gotcha.
like
So
when you
it's
get to
like,
typing
when
questions.
you're doing there, it's very important when you research that you order your words in the right
Okay.
order.
Right.
You know,
Right.
the
see.
one
Okay.
thing you want to
Thank you.
find out, you want to put all that at the front, and then peripheral things you put in the back.
Right.
So I got to
Right.
sign off.
Okay.
I've gone long, and
All right.
so
Thank
what will
you.
happen is
We'll
that I will
talk
not hang
tomorrow.
up on
Thank
you.
you.
I'm not hanging up on you, but I will sign off. Hold on, just stay. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I'm going to sign
All
off.
right.
God bless you all. And this is Bob and Danielle and
Good night, everyone.
Michelle signing off, and I'll
Good
see you tomorrow morning.